And again, tomorrow we're going to be able to get a first opportunity at looking at the guys in full gear. But if you watch some of the practices and you watch the way that they're moving around right now, my opinion, I think these guys, especially the Georgia guys, these guys at Georgia, man, they have definitely come in. And I saw somebody make a comment about me talking about Jalen Carter. I never said anything about Jalen Carter unless it was about his experience. He has no experience. He's never played in the NFL, but he's going to have an opportunity to be a star in this league. And I think he's got all the potential to be a Jerome Brown. Still, you have no experience. He's got to get on the football field and he's got to play. That's what he is. So when you say make your mind up, no, I'm telling you who he is. You give him the potential because he's in year one and he hasn't played in the NFL yet. I'm not telling you he's not going to not be good. I believe he is, but he has no experience playing in the NFL system yet. Hasn't played it down. That's who he is. It's not, you're not sold on him one day and then you're sold on him the next day. Nobody's saying that. I got more of a problem with Jordan Davis because I kind of know what I'm seeing. Okay? I thought he was going to be a fire plug, and he is. You guys think he's going to be Fletcher Cox. I don't believe he ever lives up to the potential of Fletcher Cox. I don't think he's ever that player. But we'll see. Hey, he may be a Hollis Thomas. Somebody like that. He could be somebody in that conversation. Okay? You also trash Carter. When did I trash him? When? What did I say about Carter that I trashed? Give me one example of that. Give me one example. Tone has been my producer all year. Give me one example that I've trashed Jalen Carter. Tone says you've never trashed Carter. Again, making shit up. Not true. Never said anything negative about him. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it. Okay? He just needs to get out and play. I'd like to see him more. Okay? I'd like to see him. I'll tell you what I'd like to see. I'd like to see Davis and Carter play a little bit in the exhibition season. Okay? I'd like to see those guys working together. My ultimate dream, thank you, CZ. My ultimate dream would be going into the start of the season that Fletcher Cox is the rotating tackle. You'll get more out of Fletcher that way, and he'll play all year. That would be the ultimate dream, is to have those two guys as your starting defensive tackles against New England in the opener. And then you get to preserve your more experienced defensive tackle. They're probably not going to go that way because the linebackers behind him aren't good enough. And they're going to have to put their best people immediately in the game. Let me just say this to you, man. If those tackles are not playing really good football, with what you have now, it is not going to be good enough. It is just not going to be good enough. Some players, NFL ready, most not, and have to develop. That's right. But here, some guys like Brandon Graham take a couple years, but they progress. And sometimes it's a slow putt. I'll tell you this on Brandon Graham. Do you know how many organizations would not have let Brandon Graham turn out to be Brandon Graham? 90% of them would never have waited and let him go at that pace that he went at with his career because it was gradual. Most teams want instant gratification. And that's why sometimes you don't get the luxury of seeing a guy like Graham grow into being a good player. Most teams would have given up on him after year 5. He wasn't that good in year 5. He was a good player, but somebody you could live without. I think Davis might have not have understood what it takes to play 5 downs in a row in the National Football League. He mentioned how he got threw 5 downs in a row at practice, and it surprised him. That's right. Brandon Graham almost got cut if it wasn't for a training camp injury, and he capitalized from the extra reps and opportunity. That's exactly what I said. There's no question. That's what happened to Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham is a few cuts away from not making the ball team. And then all of a sudden, they decided, and circumstances saved his career in Philly. And it's not because he wasn't a good player. It's because circumstances, and most organizations don't want to be patient. I'll tell you this. I'll make this point to you. The reason Brandon Graham is a great example of having him on your roster is the only reason Derek Barnett's still on your roster. Derek Barnett is on the roster right now because of Brandon Graham. And because the Eagles had patience with him. Because if they didn't experience that with Graham, Barnett would have been cut 3 years ago. He has not lived up to the expectations. Okay? Fans want to pretend otherwise, but they were ready to cut off Graham back in the day. Yeah, well, that's normal. That's normal. People want to see instant gratification. Guy doesn't play out and pan out right away. You look at him as a bust. That's why here, you have never heard me use the word with Jordan Davis, bust. Because it's not fair. I think the kid needs 3 years. We'll find out who he is. Any player that I evaluate, any player that I talk about, I look at it this way. And here's why I'm saying this about Dean. I don't think he's big enough. And I think they're putting a position on him that is going to be overwhelming. Okay? I think this is an organizational I think this is an organizational miss. I think they're asking him to get 135 tackles, play the Mike linebacker, be the captain of that team, and then learn the game in the process. That's an awful lot to ask of a young player. I mean, quarterbacks don't have that kind of responsibility that Nakobe Dean's going to have. I think they're force-feeding him. Okay? Let him learn how to play. Let him learn how to play linebacker first. Setting fronts. Dealing with the quarterback. Understanding the play and leverage. All of that. He's never done. Never done at the NFL level. And see, to me, it's not so much. When you have a guy thinking that much, he's going to be slow and chasing. I think, once again, the prediction that I made is not because I don't think the kid is not a good player. I think you're asking too much of him. And to me, you should have did what they did with Seth Joyner, Sam, Will, Mike. That would have been the better transition. Fans think this is Madden. What Dean is being asked to do is tremendously difficult. Huss, do you know what it's like? Let me say this to you, Tone. When you get your playbook, you get a playbook that's got about 5,000 plays in it. Offense has to be 800 to 900 plays. Okay? Then what you have to do is you have to understand all the nuances. And there's a technique page that goes along with every page and every play that you run, a twist, a stunt, a front coverage, whatever. And you traditionally have to know what the guys behind you are doing because you have to work on fits. Then what you do as the season starts, here's what you get. And here's a typical week in an NFL for a player. And then you're asking Dean to do all this. He's got to know all those plays. Then Monday, you go in, you run around, you get your stuff, you're ready to rock and roll. You work out a little bit, you watch the team film with your defense, then you break down into positions and you work out. Tuesday's players' day off. Wednesday, you come back, you get week 2, you get the Vikings. You watch the Patriots game on Monday as a team and then as a group. It's usually a half a day. Tuesday, players' day off. Wednesday, you're back. You get the Vikings game plan. And the Vikings game plan will be handed to you. You'll have your playbook with you, and they'll hand out the Vikings playbook that they want to try to institute that week. And what they'll do on the board is they'll try to put goals up, hold them under 27 points, hold them under 290 total yards, Don't give up 3 plus 25 plays. This is what they like to do. Their top 7 plays. They'll put it on the board for you, and you're looking at that all week. Then what you do is you open up your playbook and you look up the playbook of the week for the Vikings. Your defensive coordinator is usually with a team meeting. You're all sitting there. You're talking about it. You break down. You go start watching film on their top 25 plays, and you watch the last 3 weeks of their season from a year ago, and you watch the opening game. And what you'll do is you'll come up with tendencies. Then you'll get a tendency chart. This is what they like to do out of far set. This is like they do out of eye backs. This is what they like to do out of 3 wide personnel. This is what they like to do out of shotgun. This is what they like to do on short yardage. This is what they like to do on the 20, minus 20, plus 35, brown set, red set, green set. You're looking at all of that. And so you're telling me you think that a linebacker who's never done any of that shit, then he's got to learn how to play, is going to replace a dude that had 159 tackles a year ago. I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. Okay? He's being asked to make an immediate impact, run the defense, know everyone else's job, and still develop and stay healthy. Impossible. 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 All right. Hey, guys, once again, today starts off our relationship with our friends at Hooters, and we are so excited about it. 35 years we've had this relationship, and it goes back all the way back to my days with the Buccaneers when it was just a local place in Clearwater, and now it's the national empire that it is. And 2023 is the official home for the National Football Show with Big Sills here, and we so invite you. We're going to be doing so many things. And King of Prussia, we cannot wait to have you out there with us. By the way, your preseason home, fantasy football leagues, this is where you want to have your draft parties, is there at Hooters King of Prussia. Get your draft party. You're going to have to call them because limited space right now. Hot wings, world-famous Hooter girls, daily specials, Tuesdays at Hooters. 2 days, you buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless wings for free. Wings Wednesday, you're going to add, this is like a 40-year tradition that they've had this thing here too. All you can eat wings on Wednesday for $19.83, man. Just absolutely awesome. On Saturdays, kids eat for free. Can't beat that. Happy hours. Each and every single weekday at noon. 6 items for $6. Can you beat it, right? Miller Lite Tall Draft, Coors Light Tall Draft, Blue Moon Short Draft, fried pickles. Got to get them, man. 6 boneless wings. 240 North Gulf Road, King of Prussia. This is the home of the Big Sills National Football Show, and we're so excited to have you guys come out and be part of this thing here. And do me a favor. If Big Sills said and Big Sills sent you, it's the place to go.